Welcome back in my flat, and for the first time in his life, Murdock visits my place. I hope you are okay with it.
I'm already feeling at home.
Good to hear. But today's video is about things or bands where we don't feel at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's about our blind spots. This video is about blind spots in our not only record collections, but even in our minds.
Yeah.
In the sense that those are bands. Each of us picks three.
Right.
3 bands each that we think we would like if we ever listen to them, and we are kind of interested in digging them out, but for whatever reasons we never did. So like a bands. Can you describe the concept of the video better than I can?
I think, I don't know, but I assume everybody interested in music has a couple of bands he or she comes across the name, or sees album covers, or knows a few songs and thinks, it's quite nice, but never gets around to really listening into them.
Yeah, or in my sense, it's often bands. I think some of those 3 bands on my list are bands that I'm always have been aware of, because they often get name dropped when people compare them to bands that I like, or bands that I like are giving interviews and saying, oh, I'm inspired by this band. So it's bands we really should know and we would like to know, but time wasn't yet right. There wasn't at the time. But I think it's also, at least my goal, I don't know about you, but it's my goal now that I'm thought about those bands actively, will be to buy one album each this year, at least, by each of those 3 bands. I mean, people can now may now think, by buying an album you can nowadays people just
why don't we stream?
Nowadays people would just if they're interested in a band that they don't know yet, they go to Spotify and listen to a stream. And I know that's the common thing nowadays, but that's not me.
I sometimes do so, but with the 3 bands we talk about today, I didn't do it.
Sometimes I did that too, but that was always a mistake, and I don't want to make this mistake ever again, because when I listen to something on Spotify for the first time, and I think I can never really love it. Because of the aesthetic of the and the clinical feel of the app, and there's no soul in it for me. So the only times when I really use Spotify is with records that I already know, but I'm busy and I don't have time to put on the record, and I just want to have something in the background while I'm working or something. That's when I use Spotify, or when I have to do some research. Because I'm working in the music business, sometimes I have to research what the competitors are doing and things like that. But for records I really want to fall in love with, it would be a big mistake for me to just go to Spotify. It's too easy. It doesn't really satisfy my lust for the hunt. I want to be a hunter.
Sometimes I approach it like, if this was playing on, in the past I would really discover things via the radio. Yeah. So if this was playing on the radio, would I be intrigued to go out and buy the record?
Yeah, that was always an option back in the days when I still listened to radio, but I don't really listen to radio anymore. For years now. So let's
talk about our blind spots.
Do you want to start with what's the first blind spot on the list?
So each of us we picked 3 bands or artists. So
would be funny if we picked the same.
Okay. I start with probably a classic act. He passed away, I think, last year.
Let me guess. Who passed away last year?
Lots of people passed away. Lots of artists passed away.
Well, can you give me a hint?
Yeah, I did a Woodstock ranking video, and this artist made my number 1. And when I made this video, it started me thinking, hey, I really enjoy this Woodstock performance, but I never
the guy with the acoustic guitar?
No.
What's his name? Who opened up?
John B. Sebastian or Richie Havens.
Yeah, Richie Havens.
No, not quite.
Who is it?
So it's so I never followed up this favorite performance.
Jimi Hendrix. You never listened to a Jimi Hendrix song in your life?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Sly Stone, or Sly and the Family Stone.
I have records, but I would recommend them to you. I think you would like them.
I think I really would like them because I think this Woodstock performance.
And my special advice to you is because the normal, the orthodox way would be that there's a ride going on. Would be the logical first album to buy by this artist.
I'm aware of those albums, and
but don't do it, because at least I was a bit disappointed by the album. But I really like Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah.
But not necessarily this album. I don't think this album is. It's one of those cases. It's a very important album, but it's not necessarily the most fun album by the group. It's a very dark album.
It's
dark album. Yeah, I mean it can be good. A dark album can be good, but if you really want to find out what's, if you want the hooks and the great sing-along moments, and I'm a pop guy. You're a prop guy. Maybe there's a ride going on would be the right first album for me, but I much more enjoy the Greatest Hits album. I would as a start. Maybe maybe I can look for it after we finish, and I can give you the Greatest Hits album.
Yeah. So the question is, will I also become a funk guy? Or I mean, it's kind of groove, soul rock funk.
It is, but it's a kind of band that transcends those genres. In the best moments, you don't have to be a big funk fan. I'm not really a big funk fan myself to enjoy this artist. So that's really a good one.
Yeah. Actually, it's a sad occasion that only when he passed away, I really started thinking about, hey, why did I never listen to a full album? I know the Woodstock material and of course the hit single Everyday People, but that's it.
Yeah, that happened to me also several times, not with those 3 artists on the list today, but that I really went out and bought the albums by an artist after, like a couple of days or weeks after it passed, because of all the media coverage and so on. I think Prince is an example.
Yeah.
I had Purple Rain and the Best of Prince since I'm a child, and I liked those albums. Yeah. Back then, but I didn't love them back then. Again, it was too much funk maybe. But after he died, I became a fan, and in 1 year I bought like 20 albums. Not all at once, of course, but both Parade and Sign of Times and the self-titled and so on. And then I became more and more a fan of Prince. It must have been 2016 when he died. But no, my first.
So that was my
first. Number 1. So now for something completely different. We just talked about Monty Python before we started the video. Simple Minds. Simple Minds. It's a band. I never listen. There's one song by Simple Minds I know, but I'm guessing very strongly this is a very atypical song.
Don't you forget about that?
Yes, it's very atypical because they didn't write it themselves. Usually they wrote their songs themselves, and this was a song that the record company kind of wanted them to perform.
They were very reluctant to record it, actually.
To get this song in the movie soundtrack for this, what's the director's name? Very famous 80s teen romance. John Hughes or something?
Is it John Hughes?
Yeah, and the movie Breakfast Club. At least produced by John Hughes. Often he was just a producer. Whatever. I know the movie, I know the song, I always liked the song, but it always sounded, because it's not a self-written song, that doesn't tell you much about the character of the band. It always sounded like the song of a one-hit wonder. It was the typical 80s. Yeah, it's nice, but it's not much substance, but a good song, but not much substance. But I'm really intrigued to find out if the real catalogue of Simple Minds, if I would enjoy it. I think I guess, I mean, you can tell me if you know more stuff about them then, but I would guess they're maybe a bit like U2. Maybe U2 is.
As far as I know, I don't have any full album by the Simple Minds. My parents did buy one CD later on, which I forgot the name. It's the one with Belfast Child on it, and I think that's when Simple Minds really kind of sounded a little bit like U2.
Yeah, the Irish thing.
I've heard a couple of earlier Simple Minds tracks when they were more art pop new wave. Yeah. It's a bit edgier, maybe.
Yeah, I think a bit edgier.
Alive and Kicking is another of the 80s hits.
Don't know it.
I enjoy it.
Maybe it's a song that I know.
Yeah.
If it comes to the radio, I will recognize it. But I never consciously knew what that song is. And we have to thank the Simple Minds, or at least the singer Jim Kerr, for Little James. Maybe the worst Oasis song of all time, because Little James is dedicated to James Kerr. He was the son of Jim Kerr and Patsy Kensit. And that was the time when Liam Gallagher was married to Patsy Kensit, and so it was his, like, what is it then, stepson? Is it the stepson? Yeah, he was the stepfather of James Kerr, and the Oasis song Little James is about James. Okay. And Patsy Kensit once said, in the 90s, when she was asked why she is now dating Liam Gallagher, she said, "Because I love Simple Minds." Yes. It's a great. I think it's a great.
It's a great one-liner.
Yeah, great one-liner. Liam mustn't have liked that much, I would think. Simple Minds. I really want to find out more about Simple Minds. What's your second?
My second artist.
Artist or band?
Is it's a band. I think I really should get a little bit deeper into my. What's the genre? Post-punk, art punk. It's Wire.
Okay. Oh, again, I have lots of records by them.
I've heard only a couple of tracks by them. Couldn't even tell you the name of the songs, but I always found them quite intriguing. I enjoyed it.
It's a great band.
It's kind of, how would you describe it? It's kind of new wavy post-punk, but there's something artsy about it. Something very minimalist.
I would say it's artsy.
Yeah, art punk.
Artsy,
I don't know.
Artsy post-punk.
Yeah. But with a bit of a pop, sometimes pop hooks almost.
Yeah, but also more experimental.
What I've heard.
More experimental than most other those kind of bands. Are you familiar with Gang of Four? With songs by Gang of Four?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Wire are the better Gang of Four.
Okay.
But I recently did a video about The Fall.
Okay.
And now, I did a video about The Fall because The Fall 2 weeks ago would have been one of those bands on the list, because 2 or 3 weeks ago I didn't know much about The Fall, and then I bought a Greatest Hits and I loved it, and then I bought 2 or 3 of the albums and I also loved them, and then I did this video about discovering The Fall. And now I think of those are 3 bands that all sound kind of like. And I would say The Fall is my number 1 of those 3 groups.
Okay.
Wire is the number 2, and Gang of Four, which is also alright, is my number 3. But The Fall is, Wire don't have much sense of humor, I would say. Not that I need it in every. I don't need music to be funny, but The Fall is like Wire with that the sense of humor added on. So it's like you get 2 for 1 in a sense. It's the more fun Wire. Wire is a bit an earnest band, I would say. But the debut album, Pink Flag, and the second album, Chairs Missing, I highly recommend.
Okay. I know the cover image of Pink Flag. It's one of those iconic albums that you always come across. And I had the feeling that Wire is very much thought through. It's very designed.
I think it's like Pink Floyd, one of those groups where everyone in the group is like an architecture student and
art school
things like
music.
that, and son of millionaires.
Okay, so
that kind of.
I might like it.
It's.
Or maybe they turn out one of the bands for our next video idea.
I mean, I'm not so sure if you're a post-punk guy. I don't think so, probably, But if you like post-punk, then Wire is essential. Then Wire is like, if you talk about 60s Invasions bands, and there's like the big 4 is like the Beatles, the Stones, the Who, the Kings. And if you talk about punk, then Wire is one of those 2, 3, 4, or thrash metal, Metallica, Anthrax. There's always those top 3 or top 4 of a genre. And Wire are clearly on the Mount Rushmore of that genre.
Yeah, they are mentioned quite often.
Yeah.
So would you suggest me to start with the debut album or
Pink Flag?
Pink Flag.
I mean, the risk here is that afterwards you will be disappointed by every of the other albums, because it's a case where the debut album is probably the most impressive album.
As is often the case,
But I started with Pink Flag, and I liked it so much that I even liked Chairs Missing, the second album, because it wasn't quite as good and quite as innovative, because on Pink Flag they did their thing for the first time, of course, and then they, like every band, they get in their grooves and they repeat themselves. But I think all the albums I listen to are quite enjoyable, but Pink Flag is the big masterpiece, I would say.
Right. Yeah. So you're number 2.
My number 2, I'm a bit more the mainstream guy today, because after Simple Minds, which is like a stadium band, the next stadium band, but this time from Australia, In Excess.
Ooh, even bigger stadium bands.
But bigger stadiums. No,
in
Ireland they have small stadiums.
Same time period, more or less. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, my blind spots are more or less. I have blind spots in the 60s and in the 80s, but today's video is just about 80s groups for some reason.
I've got a greatest hits by In Excess.
Is it good?
I think it's fantastic. I always liked In Excess, but on a surface level as a kind of radio hit band. So I'm really happy with this. So this could be of compilation.
Could be like
I don't know how consistent their studio albums are.
Could be like Simple Minds, if you say there's a radio band that I'm aware with when I'm listening to greatest hits, all of a sudden, I know this song, this song, this song, but I don't know them consciously, but maybe I've heard.
I really like their hits. Songs. I would go as far as they are probably one of my favorite kind of pop rock bands.
And In Excess is also like the Oasis thing. It's also like a crossover because they were they weren't friends with Oasis. I would say there's the story that Liam Gallagher beats Michael Hutchence up with a fire extinguisher or something like that, or he threatened him with a fire extinguisher. A couple of days later, Michael Hutchence died. So. Maybe Liam had something to do with that.
Let's hope not.
Well, if Liam didn't have anything to do with it, then the mainstream theory is, of course, that it was like a sexual
sex accident or sex game. I don't know.
Because there's one. It was a bit of a cheat. There's one thing I'm familiar with by In Excess, because and this is why that's why I wanted to say. I don't subscribe to the theory that it was suicide, because usually there are the people who say it was suicide or it was a sex accident. I'm team sex accident because the only thing I consciously watched and listened to by In Excess was there's on YouTube a video, The Last Rehearsal. The Last Rehearsal, they filmed for some reason, I don't know, I really don't know why. They filmed The Last Rehearsal, typical rehearsal room, nothing fancy, not really like, we make a big documentary out of it. It was just a video camera in a rehearsal room, and they rehearsed a concert. It was like a complete set list. You can watch it on YouTube. And it was, clickbait. I was intrigued by this. He died 5 hours later. The last time we saw Michael Hutchence.
Maybe the rehearsal was terrible.
For those macabre reasons.
Ended his life
for those macabre reasons, I clicked on it, and I was really blown away because it was a rehearsal. I wasn't familiar with any of those songs because it's just a rehearsal. They don't announce the songs. They just play through these songs, maybe like a greatest hits set, probably. And it's so nonchalant because it's like a rehearsal room, and they all are very, they're sitting there and smoking cigarettes and drinking beers. It's very casual. But those songs were so big. There was a really stadium anthems in a rehearsal room. So I'm familiar with that. I watched that once, and I loved it. But it's not the kind of video that you watch repeatedly. Because it's just a video camera.
One angle.
One angle. So it's not so really enjoyable to watch it repeatedly. But I was really impressed by the music and then how good they performed that music in this rehearsal setting. And Michael Hutchence. And that was maybe the main reason, the macabre main reason why I watched that video to begin with. Because of course, like everyone else who's interested in gossip, I was always wondering, was it the sex accident thing or the suicide thing? And he seems so happy and content, and he's really a man doing what he does best, and he enjoys it, and he knows he's good, he's giving a good performance. Someone who's giving such a great rehearsal, maybe, and then maybe next day the big concert of what the rehearsed maybe will be, doesn't kill himself 2 hours later.
Probably not. I mean, Michael Hutchence, and I really like his voice. I think he had a wonderful voice for this kind of style. He always apparently was an insecure artist. He didn't. He was insecure in front of the huge audience.
But still in this
But
rehearsal
still a showman.
room,
Still
in this rehearsal room, he seems not. It doesn't seem like a man who was going to kill himself 2 hours later. It was really like. Yeah, mates, this is a great rehearsal. Let's open up another can of beer. It was really were content and happy and having a good time.
Excellent.
So,
it's my turn again.
It's third.
Yeah, the third. It's a band again. To maybe fill in a few blanks in the kind of somewhere between Manchester and Britpop.
Okay, let me have a guess. Primal Scream?
No.
Stone Roses?
No.
Happy Mondays?
No.
James?
No. And somewhere in between, it's the Charlatans. Or Charlatans.
Oh, okay, that's the first of your 3 picks that I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't recommend them to myself because I know the Charlatans.
Yeah.
But maybe I would recommend them to you because I think you would like them more than I do like them. They're very, I never understood really the Manchester comparisons apart from the fact that they come from Manchester and were around in that era and it had the same fashion. But sound-wise, they're really very much 60s
inspired.
Birds and
I think I know 2 songs.
The only one I know.
The only one I know.
The only song.
Almost the only song. And North Country Boy, I think is it. But I know they've got hundreds of albums.
And again, an Oasis connection, because again, Liam Gallagher is always around people, and then they die. Very suspicious because
the angel of death.
I think a couple of days before the keyboard player Rob, I can't remember his last name, but Rob was his first name. He died in the mid-90s. He died like 2 or 3 nights before the Charlatans were supposed to support Oasis on the big Networth show. One of a couple of support acts.
Yeah.
And so strange tragedy that happened. I think the keyboard guy was probably the most talented in the band. I don't think that, what's the name? Tim, again, I only know the first name for them. Tim Burgess, I think is the name of the singer. I don't think he's a very good singer.
Okay.
He's from the Bobby Gillespie school of singing. But not as cool as Bobby Gillespie.
Not as cool.
Primal Scream. Anything else you want to say about this band that you don't know much about?
The Charlatans? No, I just thought, based on the 2 songs I know, I realized there seems to be a bit of a 60s influence, so maybe, and I kind of like this, arguably middling kind of Brit rock.
I think
it's not very creative, maybe, but I kind of like this stuff.
I think you would like it. They're one of the most retro Britpop bands. That was always the accusation by Britpop haters that all those groups sound very retro.
Derivative, maybe.
Yeah, but in some cases, then they aren't really that retro. But the Charlatans are really like Ocean Colours. Those are the kind of bands who really they just recreating something like a cosplay performance.
Okay. So if anybody watching this knows 1 or 2 albums that are recommended by the band.
I'm thinking I have albums by the Charlatans, but I don't think
I think I should start with a compilation.
Yeah, I think they're good for a compilation. I think the album that I like most by them is from like 97 or 98, and it starts off with a track called Forever. And that's a track that I would, I would recommend to you watch the Forever on YouTube or listen to it. And if you like that, then you will like the Charlatans. Okay. I think it's one of the better songs.
Right.
Yeah. So my third act is now something completely different. Now we leave the stadium.
Yeah.
We leave the big
vast
stadium and we go into the dirty, dingy club.
Okay.
In New York City. I'm not sure. I don't even know if they're from New York City, but they sound like New York City. Suicide. And we also had the subject suicide repeatedly in the video. Maybe YouTube will
the algorithm's not happy.
Warning disclaimer.
Yeah.
I will edit it out. Suicide.
Yeah.
The group Suicide, or this group. It's a duo.
It's a duo. Yeah.
Alan Vega.
Again,
Alan Vega.
Alan
Is that
Vega
the name
and
of
the name of the other guy is
no one knows the name of the
to be honest.
The other guys like the Garfunkel.
I think they've got
Simon.
a couple of albums, but actually the important one is their first one,
Yeah.
which is self-titled.
Yeah.
I don't have that album. There
I
are a lot of
always wanted
albums
to
that I've
have
heard, but I don't own them. But I think it's pretty cool. It's intense. It's not something you have playing in the background.
It's an album that I always wanted to have, but never. There was never really the right moment, or never. It never happened so far. But this year I will finally.
Yeah, I think
I get it.
I couldn't listen to it all the time, but I think they did something really cool with their limited instrumentation and what they. It's kind of electronic punk, but not
very minimalist.
Very minimalist, but not not electronic in a kind of Kraftwerk way, but more like I don't know. It's hard to say.
And still, there's something connected to stadium rock with Suicide, because I once heard that Bruce Springsteen thinks that he once said that the first Suicide album is his favorite album, or it's the best album ever.
I wouldn't have expected that from somebody like Bruce Springsteen.
He listened to that album supposedly
from Nebraska, maybe.
Yeah,
he
listened to that album around the time, and then he decided, okay, I want to do a minimalist album myself now. Nebraska.
Acoustic guitars.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Iggy Pop, but a really
I'm not really a fan of Iggy Pop.
a really dark, dangerous.
I mean, Iggy Pop is also dangerous
with an electronic minimalist background.
I think I used to be a fan in the like early 2000s of. There were bands that were inspired by Suicide, and one of them was The Kills. I think they still exist, but I don't follow them anymore. But I think The Kills are inspired by Suicide, and I liked and kind of still like The Kills.
But there are no guitars.
That's
At least not on that album. As far as
I don't need guitars all the time.
Because I think The Kills have got.
Not always, but mostly they have guitars, but not always.
It was. I can't remember when the Suicide album was released originally.
77, 78,
it's
something.
Quite
like
radical style for 77.
So those were 6 acts that we. Thought that we don't have anything to say about them, because the concept of the video is that we don't know them.
We sat down to make a short video.
But I think it's a 30-minute video now. Okay. So we talked 30 minutes about something that we don't know anything about. What does this tell you?
That's our special skill.
Talking stupid things. Okay, that was it. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.